Hello, and welcome to our podcast, Celebrating Differences, where we talk to interesting people about who they are and what they have done and what they intend to do to make the world a better place for all of us. Celebrating Differences is an initiative of WOW, a nonprofit chartered to foster community. We believe that each person is unique and special and part of a wonderful whole.
Where I didn't think I could contribute as much as I could in the building process. So I was very much kind of itching to get back to the building stage. And so very much woom is in the building stage.
Hello, this is Preston Tyree, and in this episode, number 96, we had a chance to talk with the new managing director of woom USA, the U.S. arm of what I believe is the best children's bike manufacturer in the world. Full disclosure here. I'm a part-time employee of woom, working with families to provide a powerful experience for children as they start a wonderful journey by bicycle. I was introduced to woom when a friend asked if I wanted to help at an outdoor event where we would be letting children ride bikes. I fell in love with the brand after seeing how it made the learning and riding experience so much better. Yes, I'm biased, but hopefully that didn't keep us from having a great interview. So let's go listen to April Obersteller.
Are we going to record?
Here we go, yeah.
Oh gosh.
Okay. So just wander through.
You look great.
Wow, look at all the bikes.
There are a lot of bikes. I can
So-
remember when I first started.
The first time I walked in, I said, goodness, because that's just bikes, and all the spare parts are around the corner over there.
Uh-huh.
So you've got helmets and tires and tubes and pieces and parts, and it's an amazing warehouse space.
It is.
So why don't you introduce yourself?
Hello. My name is April Obersteller, and I've been at woom for a little over 3.5 years, and I have the awesome pleasure of stepping into the role of managing director this coming January, so in a couple days.
January 14th?
January 1st.
January 1st.
January
Fantastic.
1st, right at the new year. So.
Good. So let's look around a little bit,
Let's
and
do
then
it.
we'll talk about you and your job. So
Great.
here's, more and more of it, stacked high. Goodness, I'd hate to have to get that box off the top.
Yes.
Yeah, so we do have lifts and all that kind of stuff. This is our shipping section out here. Those big doors open to UPS trucks that we fill up and ship out. Okay.
Yes. So give her plus a couple hundred.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of bikes.
A lot of bikes. And yeah. Wow.
I know.
And so we get some back for different reasons.
We
and
do.
That's what we have here. These are what we call certified pre-owned.
Mm-hmm.
And they're sold at a nice discount for people who live in the area and can come pick them up. And those are our specials right there on the wall.
Mm-hmm.
And some of them we put back in boxes and we'll ship out. But these you just have to come pick up. So.
And it's fun looking at the space now. I mean, 3 years ago, first of all, it was empty.
It was empty.
It was empty. I will never forget coming into this beautiful warehouse, and there was maybe 10, 20 bikes in the middle, and it was just a big empty warehouse. And so just to see it now stocked how it is, I mean, it's incredible that was such a 3-year turnaround. So yeah, it's been quite a journey for sure.
Yeah, so where did you start this journey with woom? You said you've been here 3 years.
Been here 3 years, 3.5 years, and started the journey. I was open to looking for a new adventure in my career, and I got a call from a recruiter saying, "Hey, based on your profile, I think you would really like this company. It's a little bit smaller than where you're at right now, but the culture is the same and the mission is the same in regards to getting people outdoors and the owner. And I remember the recruiter using the word magic. And so I was intrigued nonetheless. And of course, one meeting with Matthias, it definitely proved he was full of magic. So that's where it started. And
you would get that end chair right there.
that work?
That's working.
Yeah.
We'll just set this up so we can see both of us, maybe.
Awesome.
And I'll sit on that end.
Perfect.
And that will get both of us.
Awesome.
So, you said owner, Matthias. He certainly was the founder of Woom USA, wasn't he?
He sure was, in every sense of it. And I've been lucky enough to work for, I have a heart for founder-led companies. And my whole career has been that. And so, first career started with, working with this amazing leader, Jody, who, went to school to be a psychologist and ended up buying a really old, kind of rundown Southern colonial home and turning it into an event center. And we did weddings and catering, and I saw everything she poured into it. So I was spoiled to get a little glimpse of what a founder's life looks like behind the scenes. And then from there, went there to Yeti and then here to Woom. So I've gotten to see all those founders in action, kind of bringing it to life.
Okay. So April, where were you born? Where'd you grow up? Where'd you go to school?
All of it.
All that stuff.
All of it. So born and raised in Texas. So never have lived for a longer period of time outside Texas. So born and raised in Houston and grew up there with my mom, who was a single mom for most of her life and a school teacher. And it was me and her and against the world, and I loved it. And so grew up there and then went to school at Southwest, now Texas State, and have not left yet.
Okay.
So met Jody, who I just talked about, my sophomore year of college, and worked there right after I graduated. So now live here, yes, in Wimberley, which is just right outside of Austin. So
Wimberley's not a bad drive.
No, it's not. It's a long drive, but it's my podcast time, and it's beautiful. So I wouldn't change it.
Okay. You went to Texas State. What'd you do? What courses?
I'll never forget, my freshman year, I was at the rec center. I saw a sign that said, "Do you want to get paid to play?" So I said, yes, that sounds great. And it was recreational administration, a degree. So very small part, but it's grown quite a bit, but it was awesome. So rec admin, most people went to therapeutic rec, and then I went to more commercial rec, and I had the opportunity to do a lot of independent studies because it was so small. So I did four internships as a part of my degree. So I got to really learn by doing for a lot of my education. So it was awesome. It was awesome. Yeah, I started out in the hospitality world, and I knew I wanted to be in some kind of service organization. And I loved doing that with the Omni hotels. But then, like I said, I got a little bit of that taste of the Winfield with Jody, and decided that was the route.
All right, so when was that? When did you get out of school?
2005.
Okay.
Yep, graduated 2005. I believe. Yes, that's it.
Okay.
So it's been a minute.
Yeah.
And I was at the Winfield for between that, and then went with her and her sister on, they started another business. It was a natural first aid company. And I was lucky enough to be a part of that dream with them and try to take it to, from a farmer's market to the mainstream.
Okay.
And so that was my first introduction into consumer product goods. And then I fell in love with product world. And when you get to see a product help someone, it's pretty amazing.
And you're still doing rec?
Very much so.
Recreation, sure. Okay, so then Yeti is certainly same thing.
Outdoor rec, yeah. I think, but even, I think beyond that, all of those products allow people to do something it wasn't about the product, it was about what it allowed them to do. And I think that was that common thread between the products. And so, and obviously with Woom, it's very much the same. It's not just the bike, it's what the bike allows you to, the kiddo to do.
I wondered where we were going to get to that discussion because, I don't know you very well at this point, but I had this feeling that this lady's not just in it to sell bikes.
No.
This lady is in it for, something else, and thank you.
Absolutely.
That was a really nice lead into, this is what I'm here for. Yeah.
Yeah, my whole career journey has been that. It's been about experiences and how each person is different and their experience and what they're looking for out of that experience, and then the product world. And when I even for Yeti, for an example, I wasn't familiar with the product. I thought it was an expensive cooler.
Yeah.
When I first saw it, like many do, but my husband grew up on the coast, and he's like, "Oh, Yeti, yeah." That's what allows me to take a 3-day boating experience versus a day, because I'll have to come back to get ice. And so it's those things that I have a lot of, that it gets me excited.
Okay, so it's not just normal, it's something special.
It's something special.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so the podcast is called Celebrating Differences, and you just talked about, here are some of the differences that you did. And so then the question is, what is so different, so special about April that at a relatively young age, you've been named managing director of a significant company? I mean, so, how do you step into just say, it's mine? What's different about you that makes it, one, that makes you want to do it, but two, that makes you confident that you can do it, and three, makes you've convinced other people that you can do it. And they said, here, we're going to hand this to you in about 5 days.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, with your first one, why would I want to do it?
Yeah.
I had to sit with that for a while when this first came up. And I'm a planner. I mean, to the T. I mean, obviously I did wedding planning for almost 10 years, so that lives in me. I very much have, a 1, 5, 10 year plan. That's how I operate. And so I have a true...
Where did that come from?
Probably my mom.
Is that your mom?
That's my mom. Yeah. And I grew up, watching her, get up before the sunrise, and she would do her lesson plans. And she was very dedicated to it, and I watched in awe. And I still get up before the sunrise, and that just lives part of me, I think. So I'm also good with when the plan goes a different way. And so I think that's that uniqueness that I think will serve me well in this role. And just like weddings, right? You plan all until the point, and then something goes wrong the day of, right? It starts raining. The pastor doesn't show up, And so I love to plan, and then I can pivot very quickly.
Okay.
And so, but the want, I love the experience space. And my role that I sit in currently, and about to transition out of, it was a dream role for me in many different ways. The ability to be VP of experience, both customer and employee, and really put a lot of strategy in regards to the experiences that we create for people. And that I love that, and I believe in it. I believe wholeheartedly if you put intentional strategy and action to that, really magical things will come. And so that was, I wanted to continue down that role.
Okay.
And so when this opportunity, first came in conversation, part of me was like, no, I very much want to stay in this space. I just got here, and was able to blend the two between employee experience and customer experience. And I've really loved it. And then, one of my mentors challenged me and said, well, don't you always say you'll know when you're successful when everyone else feels ownership of experience? And, when you don't have to have a customer experience person in the room, that the head of operations is thinking about the customer, the head of sales is thinking about the customer. And and like, well, why wouldn't you just put that role inside this new role? Why wouldn't it just live and breathe in this position? So that definitely challenged me to rethink about it and immediately get excited to be able to take my past in regards to the sales and the service side and connect all the dots, and but with still people at the center of it.
Yeah.
So
one of the things that I ran into early on when I was still, playing with the kids and the bikes outside and hadn't become an employee, I was just doing it on a part-time basis. It's when I started talking to people, and that's what they were talking about, is they weren't talking about HR, they were talking about employee experience. And I thought, well, that makes a lot of sense. And then the same thing about CX. What's CX? Customer experience. Oh, okay. Is that part of the European mindset, or because it is a European company?
It is, and that actually, that was pretty new to our team in Europe with this concept. So that we started customer experience. Well, let me back up. I think when I first started at Woom, one of the things that really drove me for an alignment standpoint was Matthias had the keys to success, and he had them on the wall. And the second one was create an incredible customer experience. And I saw that, and immediately I'm like, oh, he calls it customer experience too. And that was something I was challenged with in my last role, because it's like, well, really it's customer engagement, not experience. And I was like, no, it's experience. So I had alignment with Matthias with that right away. And then when it was introduced to our team in Europe, it definitely took some massaging, because it was before we called it HR, and same thing here, and we called it customer service. And so that transformation in itself, it kind of had to be introduced in a new way. But then once people really thought about the concept of it and the why behind it, it was a no-brainer. So
yeah, and it just, when I heard it, I thought, that makes sense. Why haven't I seen that before? Because I've been in a lot of companies. You said one of the differences that makes you successful and that you like is you're a planner. What else?
Because I've been in roles where I've needed to connect the dots quite a bit, and customer experience being one of the biggest ones, right? Everything touches the customer. And so you don't have the opportunity, to say, well, this is my zone, I'm focusing here. You really do have to connect all the dots, because if you don't pay attention to the full journey, something is lost within it. And so I'm good at connecting the dots and really valuing the end-to-end journey. And I think in this role, my role, it's that master of none. It's very
Jack
much
of all trades,
yes.
master of none. Yes.
It's that, we have an incredible team of leaders that do really have ownership over those different functions of the business. And my role is to connect all the dots, to serve and support those leaders and those teams, and then be able to challenge whenever we kind of get stuck in, well, it has to be this way. Because I think one of the other things that it's a part of me, and I believe in the word and I have a visceral reaction whenever someone says, well, it's this way or that way. And I never quite understood that and what that really meant until these last couple years, where it's been, this is a gift that I am able to bring to the conversation and really challenge it and look at and So I plan to do that in this role as well. And I think with that, it'll open up potentially some doors that we thought might be closed, or make us rethink some things that we thought had to be a certain way, and kind of just challenge how we're looking at how we're operating.
So we haven't really been talking about the bicycle world.
Mm-hmm.
We've been talking about sports and outdoor recreation and customer satisfaction. The bike industry, the bike world tends to be male dominated. And so how does that work for you? Step in.
It very much is. I mean, I saw that right away.
You notice how it tends to be?
Tends to be, but I think that's an add-on to what I've seen just in general. I mean, whether it be, the room is primarily, whether it be male gender of leadership, and I've been exposed to that, and so it's not, I don't see it as a blocker. I don't see it as a challenge even, and I see it as an opportunity.
Okay.
And because I have a voice and a unique experience that I can bring to the table that I think will make it wider, which I'm excited about. So.
One of my favorite sayings is the way to save the world is to raise strong women. And, I think in the presence of one here, wow. And it's something we need to do.
We do, and again, I think a lot of this too. I grew up with a single mom that she did both roles, and so for my life, it wasn't about the role of the woman, the role of the man, the role of the wife or the mom versus the dad or the husband. It was, you show up every day to do what you need to do, and I grew up with that. And so that's a part of me. And so it's not that I'm not aware that there are those dynamics.
Roles, yeah.
Again, it doesn't seem like a wall in front of me.
Okay. So you briefly mentioned your husband, and you've got kids.
I do. 3.
3 kids. What
kiddos.
Ages?
14, 12, and 6. So 2 older girls and then our little guy.
Okay, 6-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
14, 12, and then a 6.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, we decided just to do it all over again.
He's going to have an interesting life growing up with the women in his family. I can see it now.
Oh, he's already started to get. He's got some strong women for sure.
Good.
For sure.
Good. More guys need to grow up with strong women.
I agree.
I feel like my mother was a strong woman, so maybe that's why I enjoy this. But it's and my late wife certainly was.
Yeah.
So, what one thing would you like people to hear about April in this whole thing, and related to womb or not?
Oh, that's a great question.
But let me try this.
Okay.
Aim it a little bit different way. What are you doing to make the rest of your life better?
I think number one, I believe in self-care and pouring into myself first, which I think sometimes gets this negative connotation of selfish.
Selfishness, yeah.
Yeah, and I very much, I've learned throughout these years of it really isn't, it's opposite. If I can show up as strong and healthy and clear-headed and recharged and focused for life and those around me that I get to be so lucky to serve, and that's my family and my work team and strangers that I get the opportunity to meet. I can't do that as well as I'd like to if I don't pour into me first. And
sure.
so I start my day by myself, and that means getting up for the household, and it's my time, and it's my time to reflect, it's my time to exercise, it's my time to just kind of get situated in what I'm trying to achieve that day. And I think that allows me to show up for others in a way that I'm really proud of. So, and when that tilts, when I get burnt out, when I don't do those things, and I don't move my body and really be able to treat myself with kindness and respect, then that shows up too. So yeah, so I try really hard to keep balance in that way, because I know how important it is. So
yeah, and that, everything I've heard here in about April has been very positive.
That's good.
You've got a lot of friends here, not just coworkers, but you got a lot of friends here as well. And so I'm very pleased that you took some time and said, yeah, we can talk. Because I would like to get to talk to Matthias as well about the decision to step back. And basically he felt he could step back because you were here.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
And that's got to be a leap of faith.
Sure is. It sure is.
But he will be around if you need him.
He will. I have no doubt he will be, because he's that person and that leader. And again, I've had the pleasure of working with a lot of founder-led companies that even whenever they make that transition, and all the founders that I've worked with have at some point, they're never out of it. You don't, when you pour this much into it, you're never fully out of it, which I'm so grateful for. And yeah, so I'm grateful for it. And I'm also, like I said, it's an honor to step into this role. I don't take it for granted.
So the bicycle industry's had a rough year.
Sure has.
COVID was one of the best things that ever happened to the bicycle industry. Everybody bought bikes so they could get outside and ride and get the exercise and everything else. And they overwhelmed the industry. And so 23 is the year of, okay, let's reshape, let's rework and everything else. Where are we going next year?
Next year, I think we're not done yet with trying to kind of right size. And that's what we're hearing from our dealers, and it's just, we're still there. They're still trying to kind of clear that inventory out. And so that's going to be, I think that will be continued into this next year for sure. And then, but also, when you look at the children's, bike market in general, it's very optimistic. We still have to weather this storm and kind of get things a little bit more balanced, but the opportunity and the continued interest in this industry, it's there. And so it's just a matter of being very strategic on how you weather the storm that we're in, of getting balanced out a little bit.
And that's hurt this year. We've lost some people. But it's very creative around here on how to smooth bicycles. That's a lot of fun to listen to the people talk about. What are the different ways we can just get. And part of it is the bike is so good.
It's so good.
I don't know if you heard the story, but we were out at the domain the other day, and Doug and I were walking around handing out cards and talking to people, and there was this guy sitting there with his son. And he says, "What's that?" And I handed him a card, and he says, "Oh, we just bought a Guardian." I think he said Guardian. And I said, "Well, you'll find this a little bit lighter than the Guardian." And he came back to the pop-up and bought a woom.
Love it.
He's going to send the Guardian back to get the woom. And I thought, when you get that kind of quality and that kind of vision, and what stands out about woom, besides all of the pieces of woom that are made for a kid, the cranks are the right size, everything, handlebars are right, everything. It's also 20%, 30% lighter than anything else on the market. That changes the whole discussion. So it's an amazing product. And I'm so pleased that Doug found me and brought me over one day to say, let's go play with the bikes, because it's just an amazing product.
It is. And I saw it firsthand in regards to when I look at my kids, and I was that mama that bought, a faith in Reagan. They grew up at a Target, bought bike with tricycle or training wheels,
Training wheels.
And that was heavy and clunky, and they didn't catch on, and it was frustrating, and we got some cute pictures, but those bikes ended up sitting on the side of the house, and we probably gave them away. And then I see the experience with Walker that I learned on a woom 1, and I mean, and him and his best friend Levi, they were at the bike rodeo, and it was, Levi rode it for a couple minutes, they're 3, 4, 3, and it still to this day, let's go ride a bike. So I see it. It's completely different experiences, and so it's a great product that is built for kids that allows them to just fall in love with it, and they aren't frustrated by it, and I mean that's the beauty of it. So we got a great product.
It's fun to work for a company with a great product.
It sure is. It sure is. And we back it up too. And I think that's one of the other things as well. Like when you become a customer, I mean, obviously I have the great luxury to, be able to be so close to our customer experience team. So I'm actively in the email queue watching them respond. It's never a question if we're going to take care of the customer. And that also is very much, that comes from top down. So that's another thing that Matthias brought, and Paul very much, brings. We're gonna make it right if we wronged something. And that isn't normal either. And so I think that's very unique with this company as well.
You just mentioned Paul.
Mm-hmm.
Who's Paul?
Our global CEO.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes. And he was just over here.
He was just over here.
And the handoff between Matthias and Paul was very cute, yes. And you were right in the middle of it.
Right in the middle. So
and I've
glad
got some
he came
video
down.
of that, so I may run some of that into
Oh, good. I'm so glad he came down for that. It's a special place. It's an amazing product, but more than anything, I'm aligned with the values and I'm aligned with the leadership. And Matthias, I think I was coming off a little bit of the journey of starting to doubt myself in regards to, is it possible to have both? Is it possible to do these really big, huge, amazing things and make sure that people are at the center? And you were a very, a breath of fresh air when it came to that. And it got me inspired again. And so thank you for that. Thank you all for inviting me on this journey with you all. And I'm also, I don't know if I'll ever be able to say how honored I feel that I get to make this transition for that. Yeah, Paul's been awesome. Paul's been a part of the woom journey in a couple different positions throughout his journey. Starting out with, supporting us in a consulting lens. And
I think both of us always kind of like to think of what happens, when we go out. And it feels much better actually when you know that you have someone that can do your job when you're not here, or when you can't be here anymore, or you want to move on to something else. So we always had you on that list, so we were happy that
then joining us, as our CFO and then co-CEO and now global CEO, and I believe in his vision and how how to create that vision, and he's very, very aligned again what the founder started. So it's fun to see him in the role.
I can't wait to get Matthias to sell his story about how he got involved.
It's a good
I've
one.
heard it a couple of times.
It's a good
one. He loves to tell that story.
He does.
So you got a call from a recruiter.
Mm-hmm.
So you didn't know the bike, you didn't know the story at all, and just all of a sudden here they are.
Yeah, it was very much. It was
Were you
not
looking?
just. I was not actively looking.
Okay.
I was open, and I think, it's an interesting spot to be in. I loved what I was doing. I loved the company I was working for. I loved my team, and some of them came on over to woom too. So it's fun to have a couple of them over here. But when you look at the seasons of businesses. Like I said, I like to build. I like to be a part of the building process, and where Yeti was at, got to be a part of the building process, and it was transitioning to that next season, and where I didn't think I could contribute as much as I could in the building process. So I was very much kind of itching to get back to the building stage, and so very much woom is in the building stage.
Okay, I think that's going to be the introduction statement from you, is something about that. I couldn't contribute, so and what I try to do is I do a little introduction, then I give some of your words, and then we go into this.
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
And those, I think that's where
That's
we'll
great.
pull those out and put them up there, because I don't know you at all, but this is what I'm hearing from you is so good, so powerful, and I'm an old Southern white guy, and I've got all kind of prejudices, including sexism, and to see a woman succeed like this, it's just so powerful for me. It's wow.
Thanks for saying that.
And it's good for women.
Yeah.
And it's a good optic for women.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think so. And it also, woom, one of the things that, again, kind of struck me as this is a place I'm aligned with, they recognize that the table is better with different voices at it. And even with the bike industry, yes, it is primarily a lot of, kind of male-led industry, especially with leadership. When you look at who is purchasing this product.
Yeah, there we go. Who's the customer? Yeah.
Who's the customer? And it is, yes, if you look at that really kind of tight niche in regards to kind of become like our bike dads were, kind of nerd out on it and they're really tight in the industry. But if you expand to the next circle, which we have, the primary purchasers are the moms and the female purchasers. And so, I love that we have two of our leaders, right, Lindsay and Irina, who, is leading marketing and leading e-commerce, and those are the places that are directly connecting to people who are purchasing the product, and they are, both mamas as well. And so it also allows the opportunity for that experience to be optimized, and I think that's pretty cool too.
Cool. So I'd like to wrap it up. We've been going a little over 30 minutes.
Cool.
And so what's the message for the world? April's message for today.
Outside of visitwoom.com? No.
Okay. Woom.com, yeah.
Oh, the message. I think going back to that word, and I think that's that message that at the end of the day, if I could introduce that concept, that would be, my biggest and greatest achievement. It's just allowing Anne to drive how we look at the world and look at possibilities, and not put ourselves in boxes. And, this company was founded with, two brothers and a best friend that very much did that.
Yeah.
And our products are built on it, really pushing against why not? Why hasn't anyone designed a bike like this? And that should be the anthem, in regards to it, and allowing ourselves to have all the different experiences and to not feel like we have to be in a box. That Anne really is we can choose, we can have both. So I think that's what I would love to leave.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. I really do appreciate this.
Me too.
Because you're a busy person and you've taken the time out just to talk. And I appreciate it.
Me too.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it.
I think you can understand why I'm looking forward to the new year at WOOM. It will be fun this year to watch as April takes over this amazing operation. Please remember that Celebrating Differences is an initiative of WOW, a nonprofit chartered to foster community. At WOW, we believe in the word and it is wonderful to see other people who believe it as well. Please subscribe and click on the like button so we can learn what you like to listen to and can let you know when we post again. Our 4th year is almost complete, and we expect to get our 100th episode up before we turn 5.